Is it true? No hotel employee has ever confirmed this for me, but I saw it on like 60 Minutes or something. Is it true that they don't have to wash the comforter?
All right, now this is going to be an exciting podcast. At least I expect some very good stories on this. It was, 3-4 weeks ago, we got on the subject of hotel horror stories. And, of course, this is right up Allie's alley.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and we got a text message from a listener, and who's Kristen, who's here with us right now, which, by the way, hi, Kristen. It's great to have you.
Hi, it's great to be here.
Now, normally, we know listeners by the last 4 digits of their phone number. We got to know you a little bit better through this conversation. I forget all the parts of what brought us here, but what did bring us here was you've worked for hotels in multiple states. We will say none of the stories that you might hear today are from the current place of employment where you are. So that's the good news. We vetted that one out in advance. We like to keep people employed.
I would like to stay employed too.
Yes.
Can we start with your last 4 digits?
We might know if we look.
I'm pretty sure it's 2569. I do not give my number out very often.
Right.
So.
And we would never give your full number out. We just happen to go with, it's a way of doing kind of a shout out to the listeners when they text the show is, 7100 texted or 4441 or, whatever the case.
Yeah.
I believe it's 2569. I can't believe I don't know my own number, but I'm pretty sure that's it.
We're going with it. It works for that. Now, how did we get here, Allie? What is it that brought us here?
I don't even remember. Kristen, how did we get here?
Kristen, how did we get here?
I actually remember. Okay, so good. I had said, happy Friday. So excited because I hadn't had a day off in 2 weeks. You said, are you a nurse? I said, no, I'm not a nurse. I work in a hotel industry, which actually the hours are probably very similar to the dreading nurse hours. So, But that is how we got here. And because you were excited, you're like, I need somebody from a hotel on our podcast.
Yes.
That's
okay.
right.
And then you said that you've had everything from, you had stories about death and all of this. So I was like ready to jump right on in. And the other thing, because Kristen and I talked a little bit via text, was that she had like a bucket list thing of always appearing on a podcast. So it's kind of like,
well, welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now, you have worked in the hotel industry, the hotel.
Well, I don't know. There might be one of those stories.
Well, there is some ho industries in the hotel. So
you worked in the hotel industry for how long?
Oh my gosh. Probably 6 years.
Okay.
About 6 years now.
All right, let's start with the hoe industry. So give me
why not dive right in?
Yeah, give me one of those stories of, I know what she be doing.
Well, hotels are a very misunderstood place. I think people think that you're just going to go in and have a great stay, and it pretty much feels like your room, but that every room has a different story. There's a lot of prostitution. There's a lot of drugs. You will see younger guys, a group of younger guys actually, that come in. I'm not positive, but I would almost want to say that there are some people paid off because there's no way people don't know what they're doing because it's very obvious. But
well, what makes it obvious? Like for somebody who's like Scott or myself, and we don't know, like.
Well, I'll give you an example. Let me ask.
Right.
So I recently, in the past months, had to do a hotel stay for a couple nights in North Carolina, and the hallway reeked of weed. And I'm like, wait a minute. You're not supposed to smoke in the rooms. Is that a dead giveaway? Is that kind of where you're going, or is there something else? No. Okay.
Actually, the smelling of weed is very common since the legalization in New York. Actually, smell that all the time.
Everywhere.
I mean, even before that, it was very common. But I think the dead giveaway would be you will see multiple women going in and out of the rooms all day long, different women. You will see multiple
What hotel was this?
So what you're saying is a woman will go in a woman will go in at noon and then she'll leave and another woman will come in at 3?
Oh yeah, they'd be selling drugs out of the hotel rooms. Also, like they would be selling their women. I would assume it'd be like, a pimp. But I'm not.
Well, it's tough to have that on an office building,
Right.
Suite 202 is the pimp.
Well, their kind of signature thing they would do is they would have one guy sit out on like a balcony out in front of the room. It was like an outside hotel where mainly the hallways were outside. So one guy would be sitting outside, and that was kind of the cue to the girls. Okay, well, he either has drugs or he can make me some money any other way. But you see that a lot.
Now, was that because you had told us that you had worked in Florida? Was that more of a Florida hotel type setup where it's the outside, hallways?
Yep.
That was the same thing when I was in Palm Springs. Not that there was, I don't know about prostitution, but because it's so.
She put the hoe in hotel.
That's right.
Yep.
Because it was so beautiful. A lot of them have that same aesthetic that you're talking about. So I'm confused. Are the guys in the rooms the prostitutes?
No.
Okay.
Nope. They're the ones. So if you ever see just a male by himself sitting out on a balcony with the door kind of cracked open, just don't go. Don't go there.
What?
I wouldn't go
I was just having a smoke. What the hell?
Well, in Florida, it's usually not the case, but actually, there's a big hotel down in Florida that's actually getting sued because they knew that this was going on or were being paid off that this was going on, and they were allowing it to basically happen.
Okay,
because I bet you they were getting a cut.
Yes.
That's
they
what
were
I was
getting
going to
cut.
ask.
Yep.
Certainly, you're a very upstanding young lady.
Oh, thank
But
you.
have you ever been approached to say, if you stay quiet, we'll give you
Oh, yeah.
cash?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a time where
How
I kind of
much?
felt
No,
like
I'm
I
just
was
kidding.
forced to. So I did that in that one sense where I kind of felt, now he didn't say I was forced to, but I kind of felt really backed into a corner. He said, just don't come on this end of the hotel today. I'll give you a few $100s. You just stay down there. And I was like, well, if I don't see what's going on, I guess I can't really get in trouble. So it's like, all right, whatever. It's
My
fine.
RA in college said the same thing, which she
Yep.
doesn't know. She doesn't, what is it?
Yep.
She doesn't
Your
see, she doesn't
RA
know.
in
Yeah.
college.
It's true. Absolutely. She's
Yeah.
like, okay, if you guys are drinking in your room, as long as I don't see it, whatever.
It's a little intimidating because you never know. Half these guys are armed. You never
I was
know.
going to say, packing the heat.
You never know what could happen. Like, that's why I feel like the hotel industry is very underpaid because, you got to think about it. We do.
I mean, unless you're
You
getting
never
part
know
of the
who's
cut.
staying there. Right. Oh, well, that too.
Now, that's one of the hoe stories. Have you ever had one where somebody caught somebody at a hotel?
Like cheating
Like
situation.
cheating. Situation, yeah.
Oh, yes. We would have a regular that would come in and he would some days he'd have his ring on, some days he would not have his ring on, but he would come in with a different girl like once or twice a month. And we know when he's coming in because we have day room service and night room service is cheaper to buy during the day. So this guy would buy during the day. He'd be in there for maybe an hour, leave us a $20 tip and be on his way. But his wife came in one day looking for him. And legally, I could not tell her that he was there because, we get people running from abusers that come and stay there for safety. So legally,
Right.
I could not tell him. But when I seen him in the hallway, I was like, you better call your wife because she's out there freaking out.
Oh. He should have given you a $40 tip that day.
Well, he should have. I definitely deserved it that time.
Was it a situation? Because some people are wise enough to know, bullshit. I know my husband's car is here.
Oh no, she's seen it. She tried to tell me that I was lying. I said, no, I'm not lying to you. I just can't tell you whether he is here or not here legally.
Yeah.
I'm in that bind. I just can't do it.
Yeah.
And she was like, well, have you ever seen him here with anybody? I said, I can't. I cannot confirm nor deny that. I said, you're going to have to contact the police to get camera info. I can't do it.
Oh, my
But yeah,
gosh.
he would do it all the time. Or we'd see another regular we would have this older guy come in with a real young girl.
Oof.
And when I
He
was
was
cleaning
rich.
their room one day, I was looking through his trash. I kind of like looking through people's trash sometimes just
I
to
love
kind of
this.
My
tell
God,
you
I
who
hope
they
you,
are.
I hope you had gloves on. Jeez.
Oh, I do. Yes.
So what'd you find in the trash?
A whole big thing of Viagra, all gone.
How many do you need?
Right. I was saying the sheets were very soaked. I mean, soaked, oily soaked. So
Ew.
whatever they did, they had a good time. You could see a perfect butt imprint right in the sheet.
This is great.
One of my friends used to work at a hotel, my friend Scott from college, and he said the worst night of the year is Valentine's Day. He said the disgustingness that comes with Valentine's Day, because what would happen, he worked at the front desk, but then sometimes they would have to there would be a pinch hitter on cleaning if somebody called off or whatever. And he's like, I don't even want to tell you what's on the mirrors. It's so
Oh
disgusting.
no, it's everywhere. I mean, you can tell when somebody gets it from the back door too, because we get streaks of that all over the bed, and you smell it as soon as you walk into the room. If you don't think we know what you're doing when we walk into the room, we do, because you can smell it. It's horrible.
Okay,
wait, I got two.
You go ahead. You asked the question because I didn't know there was a smell with that. I mean,
there's a smell. Well, when we're used to the smell of the hotel, and you go into a room, you smell what those people smell like, good or bad, unfortunately.
Yeah, smell the straight up ass.
Yeah.
What?
Yes, yeah. Yep. So, okay, is it true? No hotel employee has ever confirmed this for me, but I saw it on like 60 Minutes or something. Is it true that they don't have to wash the comforter?
Yes and no. Yes and no. So depends on what hotels. Now, if you get a hotel that has like a duvet insert.
Yes.
Now, the insert that goes inside that duvet does not get washed every day. But if it has a smell or a stain on it, we do wash it. Yes.
Okay.
What about if it's a flip of a room? Like if I'm there 3 days, other than leaving ass streaks, where I would hope you would wash it, it would probably stay. But if like say I was checking out and Allie was checking in, it probably gets washed then, doesn't it?
Well, the top blanket and the sheets always get washed.
Yeah.
But if you see that really thick padded insert, that is not always washed. So I do recommend bringing a blanket or something like that, because it's not washed every time.
Well, and also too, I noticed, because I was just at a hotel in DC for my brother's wedding, but I've noticed this a lot in hotels, is it almost is like they almost have like lots of sheets. Like it's a lot more thinner bedding anymore, which gives me the appearance of we're going to be washing this.
Yeah, usually if it's the thinner sheets, they do. I have worked at another hotel where they had a very thin blanket on top.
That's it, yeah.
And they wouldn't wash that hardly at all unless that got a smell or a stain, which was really gross to me, because other hotels we would, but this one in particular did not. And there was even times where I said, this smells weird. They're like, well, it doesn't have a stain on it, so we can't. I'm like, all right. I don't get paid enough to argue with you, so.
Oh, my God.
Now, before we go back to some of the specific stories, I guess this is a curiosity question. Like there's squatter laws like in New York, you get these not good people that move into a place and they stay and they don't pay. Does it work like that in the hotel business where what's the limit where you go, you're gone, we're kicking you out no matter what? Or is there a limit? Can you?
Well, actually, that we had a very hard incident. There's this one small family that was staying in the hotel, and I guess her husband had died, so she didn't want to move back into the house where her husband had died, understandably.
Yeah,
right?
Sure.
So they had moved into the hotel room, never sold the house, never bought a new house, just were living in this hotel room. Before COVID, they were getting the room cleaned every day. It was clean. It was okay. But I guess once COVID hit, they would let nobody in their room. So finally, after a couple years, somebody finally got to sneak in the room and see what happened. And these people were hoarders, like boxes to the top of over my head, shit and piss covered mattress. I mean, you could smell the smell from outside of their door. And it was so bad. We literally will have to burn everything in that room by the time that they get out of there, burn it.
So were they paying the whole time?
Yeah, they were paying, which is what the hard thing was, because she was technically paying the rent. But it got to the point it was doing so much damage in and outside the room that, the manager came and said, hey, I'm really sorry to do this to you. I know you're in a situation, and I know you pay, but I'm going to kindly have to you have to leave.
Yeah.
She threw a fit, did not want to leave. It took a whole nother, I want to say, year to get them into court. And now they're actually, I heard, leaving. So.
Wow.
Oh my God, they're still there, but they're still there.
It was just like a regular eviction process.
Wow. Okay. So squatters rules apply there.
Yep.
Now, before we go back to a specific, because I'm sure you have a specific, and maybe this question will tie into it. So you told us a bit how the cleaning process goes, and I know. Listen, I want to make sure that people know. I don't want to give all hotels a bad name or anything like that. I've stayed in very clean hotels. I can't really recall staying in a pretty seedy hotel anytime recently.
I have. Oh my God, yes.
Not surprised. But
I know.
right? But that being said, Have you ever had a situation, you said you had with those people, you're going to have to burn everything.
Yeah.
Have you been in a situation where you've had to take a mattress and literally it's out in the parking lot on fire? I mean, that's an exaggeration, but like you figure we talk about the sheets and stuff like that. Well, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
I mean, at what point is it like that's got to go?
Well,
I mean, maybe this ties into a death scene. I don't know.
you'd be surprised what hotels will keep. Yeah, I'll tell you that much. You would be now. Some I will say are a lot better than others, but you will be very surprised at what hotels keep. I could never stay at the hotels that I worked at only because I know what's happened in those rooms. But if I don't know, I'm fine. I could go to another hotel and stay there and I'll be fine. I've stayed in some
Out of
sketchy
mind.
places myself. But you would be very surprised. I think the breaking point, we do have some really good stuff that gets almost anything out. You'd be surprised.
Okay.
But I would say in a hoarding situation or something where you, no matter what, cannot get the horrible smell out, even though some managers say it's fine. But it would have to be very bad. Because they'd say, oh, we can just cover it up with a mattress pad and get it spot clean. It would have to be bad.
Okay, well, let's go on to the big question that I've been wondering about, which I think this is like the extreme. Somebody dying in a hotel. Like, this is one of those cases where I assume if somebody dies on that bed is going, right?
That's got to go.
No.
Oh!
No. Now, if it made a horrible mess, yes. But I have seen... there has been many overdoses.
Oh,
way
that's
more
sad.
overdoses than there has been not. And usually the housekeepers are the ones that find them when I go knock on the doors at 11 o'clock to make sure that they are gone. We're usually the ones who find them.
And they're gone.
And they're gone, yeah.
Oh,
A lot of them was overdoses. We had a victim who had, I think he was going through real bad depression, and he had hung himself in the closet.
Oh.
That had happened. There was someone who was in the Army, and you could tell that that's what he came there to do because he had no luggage, nothing with him, just a note for the family and a bottle of pills next to the bed.
Setting aside those, because those are just, they're very sad. Well,
Yeah.
Not that death is ever not sad, but in a situation, have you ever had just someone expire in the hotel room that was not per se, an overdose or anything like that?
Maybe they were old.
They left us.
Not that I know. No,
Oh,
there's
see,
usually
okay.
a story behind everyone that does that. I mean, I'm sure there has been, but none that I'm.
You've never encountered
Right.
one where like the body's popped or
Yeah.
anything like that.
A lot of it's overdoses. It's getting it's real bad right now.
Oh, I can imagine.
Oh, yeah,
Jeez.
for sure. But they keep the mattress, huh?
They keep the mattress. Now, if it's real bad, they will dispose of it. But you would think hotels have extra of everything, right? We don't keep extra mattresses. So we would have to close down the room, order a new mattress. At least the hotels I've worked at
Yeah.
have not kept the mattresses.
Yeah.
Like extra ones, I mean.
Now, moving off the real dark, unless Allie, you have a question about the real, is there anything else? I mean, we know Whitney Houston died in a bathtub with a gravy boat. Have you ever experienced something like that?
Yeah, bathtub death.
Well, with an overdose,
Of
yes.
course,
They
yeah.
did.
yeah.
They were.
Well, ironically,
Whitney's.
probably Whitney Houston's
with an
problem
overdose.
too.
You'd be surprised of how many spots that you find overdose people in. And that's the thing. If they go in a hotel room, we legally cannot go in their room. If they could have a D&D sign on their door. We legally can't go in there, so they could be in there dead for. Oh my gosh.
Have you ever had the cops show up to help you get into a room? Because
yeah.
because the police literally they have the authority to go in if there's something
Yep.
suspicious, don't they?
Police get called a lot, mainly for legally, if we have any suspicion that there's any drug use or anything drug related in a hotel room, we legally have to report that. So we get cops coming in and ripping people out all the time.
Ever walk in on somebody doing any of the deeds?
Actually, I'm glad you said that because I totally forgot about it. I knocked.
That's what I'm here for.
I knocked on this door 3 times. Said housekeeping, knocked again. Said housekeeping, knocked again. You know he heard me.
Yeah, yeah.
I opened the door and he's laying there on the bed, pleasing himself. Didn't stop. Didn't bother to stop because I'm there. No,
He wanted to be caught.
He just stared at me and I'm like, I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay. I just turned around and walked back out and I I never went back to that room. I told the manager, I was like, you need something from him. You're going to have to go in there yourself because I ain't going back in there.
Oh, my
He didn't
gosh.
stop for me, no.
But did you look at the size? I mean, I
Oh
would
my
just-
I mean, I couldn't tell because his hand was there, and
Right.
I almost want to think he was trying to impress me, or did he think I was going to come in there? I don't know.
Oh,
He
my
wasn't that
gosh.
good
Oh,
looking
well,
for
yeah,
me.
you sure? It's just like the movies. Oh, housekeeping's arrived, you know.
Can I go back to one story that you started referencing? And I know
Yeah.
it's a little morbid, but you said the army thing. So was he was in the army or he was going into the army?
Not sure, but he had like his clothes there with him.
Okay.
Hmm.
So I'm not sure if he was going or coming from. I would assume he's coming from
Well,
and just got real depressed.
Maybe saw too much.
right. Well,
Maybe.
the PTSD from being in the service is astronomical. I mean, it's something
yeah.
that is an epidemic, if you will. So that's why I was kind of
Yeah.
curious what was going on there. Okay. That's all I really needed to know about that story. I just wanted that one last little detail.
Oh, yeah,
Have you ever watched American Horror Story, the hotel one?
I have. Yep, I have.
Okay, then let's talk about the bar for a second. The places you've worked at, have they had a bar?
Ooh, 2 of them did.
That's where I think a lot of the stories start. So do you get to see a lot at the bar and then you and your coworkers try to predict what's going to happen?
Well, normally the housekeepers are not there at nighttime when the bars are open. Some bars are open all day, most are not. But we know a problem guest as soon as we see them. We get a Karen in there and we all warn each other. Listen, if you make someone at the front desk mad, or if you make any of the employees mad in the hotel, we are going to go around and tell everybody else in that hotel that you are horrible.
Yep.
And I promise you won't get the service that you're expecting to receive because
Right.
making one of us mad has now made everyone there mad.
Okay, well then we'll spin it to a more pleasant side of that. Have you ever seen at the bar 2 complete strangers, and then next thing you know they're going to one of their 2 rooms that
Oh.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
Oh, yeah. You get random people, especially like oil field guys,
Oh, yeah.
especially the oil field guys, because they're only here for however long that their work is here for, and they're only looking for one thing. So you see that all
Right.
the time.
Laying the pipe, if you will.
Shoot, I've seen
Hello.
bartenders lose their job over getting offered money from the oil field guys, you know?
Oh, really?
Yes.
Because they tip really well.
They do tip really well. Well,
Well,
they
you'd
might
have to
tip the
accept-
bartenders very well, but they do not tip housekeepers anything.
No, but that sucks.
Yeah,
But you'd have to be accepting what they're requesting in order to get fired. Like what I'm assuming, like if the guy goes, "I'll give you $500 if you want to go screw," they'd have to
Right.
say yes in order to get
Oh, yeah,
fired
they're-
for that.
they're
Because I
definitely
can give you a
consenting.
$500 tip. Not that I have $500 to my name, but I can give it to you just for being good at the service you give. You have to actually accept something in order
Right.
to get terminated.
Oh,
Then
yeah.
it's prostitution.
Yeah, well, isn't
Pretty much.
isn't? I mean,
There's
there's
an add-on.
that's
I mean,
the
I think everybody's got a price, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah,
I think
and that's
everybody's
not a
got price.
prostitution. You need a pimp to have a to be prostitution, don't you? Or if not a pimp, you need to be like. I mean, this is sort of here's where the difference I feel comes in. Now, I'm speculating 100%
Like
here.
prostitution and a hoe. One has a pimp, one just likes money.
Right. She's got it. But think about it. If you're, if you're standing on a street corner and you are soliciting for sex, that's one thing. You're working the bar. It's closing time. It's the
Right.
last drink. The guy goes, "Hey, you want to stick around for some extra cash?" Is that really prostitution to take it? Technically maybe, but is it?
Technically, yes, but
Really?
that's a gray area because you're right.
Because she's accepting to the off. Well, so's the hoe, but that's.
and I've given you great service.
Well, but you've stood there and poured drinks all night, or, you've hung out, you've had some conversation. It's not like you pull up, how much for a beager? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, there's been that too. You'd be surprised
Well,
of how many sugar daddy offers I've had offered to me in the years.
I love
I
the
always
whole,
tell them they can't pay me enough.
oh,
so.
see, there you go.
Really? What an upstanding person you are.
That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
right.
don't want to be
totally.
rude because 90% of them are just old and lonely, and I don't want to be. I mean, I have been rude before when people have gotten out of line, yes, but
For sure.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
Yes.
But yeah. So did I effectively talk our way out of a bartender accepting,
A prostitution deal?
Is it a tip or is it for sex?
That's a great question.
And
I don't
if it's
know.
for sex, then it's just a tip, right?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was terrible.
They might have done it for extra tips thinking, hey, I won't get caught, but eventually you're going to get caught. Stuff spins in a hotel like wildfire.
Oh, one other question. Do you guys sometimes spend the night?
We're not supposed to, but if there's like, say, a really bad storm,
right,
or an emergency, something like that,
Mm-hmm.
then yes, you can, but we're not really supposed to.
Do you hate it? Because it's like, I don't want to sleep at the radio station as much as the radio station's super fun. I don't want to sleep here.
I do not want to sleep in any of the hotels I've worked at.
Even with the free breakfast.
Right.
So here's the powdered eggs don't do it for you, huh?
Yeah.
All right. So now Allie, have we covered the hotel horror and horror part of the of this? Because I do have I have a totally different set of couple questions that I want to go to with the hotel.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I want to make sure that we've covered every deviant lifestyle and murder or death, suicide, whatever you wanted to cover.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, I'm good.
Now we go to this because you've worked in when you were in Florida. Can you give us the cities that you worked in? You don't have to say the hotel names or anything, but were they bigger cities?
Pasco and Pinellas County.
Okay, because I was going to say famous people that have come through the hotel.
Oh, yeah, that's a good question.
Any of them you've been at? You don't have to say the actual hotel, even if it's relatively nearby. But famous people that have come through.
Any?
A lot of NASCAR drivers. Kevin Gates, but I kind of knew Kevin Gates anyway because
who's Kevin Gates?
I lived a rapper. You play him on your station all the time. Not all the time, but
I didn't even know
once in a while.
That's so funny.
He's a rapper. He actually, I lived down in Florida for 13 years, and I actually knew him before he got real big.
Like me and the Backstreet Boys.
Yep.
No joke. That's real. They used to come in on my station in Florida before they were big. Yeah. Nice guys. Well, they were kids then.
Fun.
But I haven't seen housekeepers. We don't typically get the details of who's coming in until they're like gone. But I know Young Gravy.
Oh, I love Young Gravy.
So when these celebrities come in, do they usually leave a tip? Are they usually clean?
No.
Really?
I knew it.
No, they are one of the worst people that we can have in there. Because the one day Kevin Gates actually was one of my rooms, and I was like so excited. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll get a really good tip. Nothing.
That's the same with. I used to work for a restaurant in Cleveland, and no one wanted the NBA stars.
No,
they're like, oh, LeBron,
nope.
Get me out
They're
of here.
in their own universe. That's the problem. All of them. Whether you're a any celebrities like TV, movie people.
What, NASCAR isn't celebrity enough for you, Scott?
Well,
I know, a lot of NASCAR. I'm sure there's a lot of them that pass, but we are typically not past that information. Just because we're the ones that have to go in the rooms. They typically try not to tell us because there has been a lot of employees that have exposed celebrities and stuff, people that have been staying there that have did that. So they kind of stopped giving us that information because so many people had been wrongfully exposed.
That makes sense.
Let's move then to with the housekeeping part of this. Is it expected? Should guests leave something for the housekeepers?
I was wondering this too.
Yes. Yeah, you should.
And
so what do
how
you
much?
think?
Like 20%? Like what? I don't even know. Like what is a standard?
Allie goes right for the
It's
top.
very
100%
misunderstood.
tip.
Because a lot of people think that when you go and pay for a hotel that we are getting a percentage of that money that you pay for the room. We are not. We don't get any of that. All that money for the hotel, any cleaning fee that you might have to pay because of extra this or that, we don't get any of that. Even though we clean it, we don't get any of it.
Now, but you do make a whatever negotiated amount of money that you would. So if it's minimum wage, it's minimum. If it's more than that, there is a set, not like a waitress or a waiter where it's significantly lower pay because you're expecting tips. Because I think if it was that situation,
we are a lot lower paid than most because we are a tip industry, but most people don't know
that's
the
it.
tip the hotel industry. So we do get some people that do leave good tips. Some weeks I'll make great tips and other weeks I just won't make anything. But if you get a nice boss who compensates you a little bit because he knows you don't make tips, then that's the good thing.
And it is common. It's uncommon knowledge that you are supposed to tip.
It is uncommon knowledge. I didn't know that before I worked in the hotel industry, and then I felt really bad for every place that I had stayed because I didn't tip. I had no idea how much work actually goes into just a single hotel room every time, and sometimes we can do up to 20 rooms in a day.
Oh yeah,
it's a lot.
And just think about this too, because I used to have an Airbnb out of my house. I had a cleaning fee so I was getting that fee. I was
You were, yeah.
Yes, because I was the one cleaning it.
As you should.
Right. So that does make sense to tip you guys, which I never realized. Well, I guess we haven't really said what's the amount. What's the appropriate amount
Yeah, that's
to
a
tip?
good question. I mean, if I leave you $10, is that good?
Oh, yeah, that's great. I would say, some people tip based on per days that they're there. So we get a guy there that's there for like a month, and he leaves us almost $100 every time, he leaves, which is really nice. But I would be happy with a $5 bill. I'd be happy if every room left $2, because then that adds up to a decent amount at the end of the day.
Sure.
But it's just an uncommon knowledge. But I would say the typical tip that we get from room is $5 to $10.
Okay, this is good to know.
Yeah.
Honestly,
It really is.
honestly, $5 to $10 is like no skin off my back.
Right,
No.
absolutely not.
Is there money in the Bibles?
I have found some before, yes, but it's rare.
What is that
find it.
all about, guys?
It's all over TikTok. I don't even watch TikTok. I never will. Don't like it. But it's all over
Well,
TikTok.
I mean, you should
saying
try.
they're
You might
finding
find
money
the
in
cure
hotels.
for whatever's ailing you every week. It changes on
Oh,
TikTok. Jesus. But anyway, I'm kidding. But so you found it on occasion, but not often.
Yeah, not often.
Yeah.
And not every time do I have time to skim through the whole Bible looking for,
I pick it up
know.
and just do the shake. There's your tip.
I do. When I'm cleaning up drawers and stuff, I do typically shake it out. But it's mainly like the Amish or Mennonites that leave money in the Bible because they believe that God will give the tip to the appropriate person, is what they believe.
Oh, I've never heard this before.
Yes.
You've never heard of the money in the Bible?
No.
Oh, I've
no,
heard
no,
of it.
no.
I didn't know the whole reason behind it, but I had heard of it. Okay.
Wait, I want to say one last thing about that Bible in the room thing. I noticed that they don't usually have Bibles in the rooms anymore, though. Anyway, the last couple hotels I've stayed at, it's not there.
Yeah, it used to be mandatory. You have to have them. But nowadays, with the phones and people having Bibles on their phones and everything so readily available, it's not a necessity to have. But if there's a Bible in one room, we have to put them in all the rooms. It can't be.
Where did that start? Why did that?
I don't know.
Okay.
Oh, it's been around forever.
I'm going to
Like,
Google
way-
that after
Yeah.
this episode because I want to know why that is.
Because it was just recently that I heard we don't have to have them in every room now, like just recently. But all before was a mandatory make sure there's a Bible in every room.
Yeah, yeah. Ever work in a hotel that had magic fingers?
What?
That's
that
the thing
mean?
you drop the quarter in and it vibrates the bed like vacation movie. I think it was in a
no.
vacation movie. Never did that?
No?
Never was really sure what the purpose of that was, but yeah, that
Oh
was
my gosh.
back in the day.
I don't know if I want to use that either if everybody else is.
Well, it's just some sort of weird vibrating thing, I guess. I don't know. It's been a long time. All right, let's go through things that you find in a room that are worthy of calling the guest. Okay, I will calling the guest or sending it to them.
Okay.
I think we'll start on the
be
high end.
surprised.
A piece of jewelry. Are most people that are in your industry going to stand up and go, "Oh, geez, this is somebody's nice necklace or ring"? Do you take it to the front desk or pocket it?
We don't. They will know if we pocket stuff. Guests know when they leave something valuable in a room, and they will
Not
call.
Allie. I mean, she probably has 4 or 5 credit cards throughout
Oh, really?
the upper Northeast somewhere.
I
yeah.
lose everything. Yeah.
We would take that to the front desk. If they don't call within 90 days, whatever housekeeper found it can take it home.
Really? So the hotel doesn't call?
No.
Okay.
Now, if it's something, usually the guests will call us. Some hotels will call. If we know it's worth a lot of money, we will call them and say, hey.
Yeah.
Or if it's like a credit card or a driver's license
Yeah.
or a wallet, we will call them. But other than that, we kind of wait till they call us.
Okay, that's how you get around that one. Because I was going to say, dirty underwear. Do you call that guest and
No.
say, "Could you
No,
come
I
get
throw
these?"
those out. I do not play. Now,
Right
I
out.
did find a dildo one time under a pillow.
Allie,
And I had, with a trash bag, asked my boss, I said, should we
did you
keep
get to take
this?
that home after 90 days?
Oh, God, no. Oh, God. Well, you could, I guess, if you really wanted to, if you're that desperate. But we literally had these people call the hotel, and thank God I did not throw it away because I almost did. Because you'd be surprised the callbacks we get on strange stuff. Like one time it was a soapbox, $1 soapbox. Anyway, so the guy called and was like, hey, did you find that dildo? It's my wife's favorite one. I'm telling you, she hasn't done anything with me since and refuses to do it. We need that mailed back immediately. Like he was frantic about it. It's his wife's favorite one. So we literally, I had wrapped this up in like 8 trash bags and we had to mail that back to them.
I can tell you, it's the Mr. Fister, serial number 543.
Yeah, but he paid for the shipping, right? Not you guys.
Not us. No, oh no, I believe actually we did. because it is our responsibility to get something back to them.
Oh.
I don't know. I can't answer that for sure, but I almost want to say we did.
I do have a favorite, but honestly, I wouldn't have the balls, if you will.
But that one does.
I would not have the balls to call the hotel and be like, I really need my dildo back.
I don't know. I might. I really might.
That's awesome.
That's right, girl.
I'm pretty ballsy with that, so I don't really mind.
That's
my
awesome.
gosh. This has been one of my favorite podcasts ever.
It really was. It's been enlightening in a lot of ways. I mean, we've heard different things that are happening. I mean, look, we don't want to put the industry in a bad light because we understand that
it's not a bad industry. It's a tough industry. It's very hard.
Sure.
You mean by schedules or it's emotionally?
It's excruciating. Like it's some days when I leave and I go home, I can barely walk. I can barely get on the floor and play with my kid. It's really tiring because hotels are so understaffed all the time because we can't keep people because we are one of the lower paying places. But I can say working in the industry, they are good about getting you up quicker than almost anywhere else. You will move up. It just takes time and most people don't have that patience.
Right.
Also, I think it's an interesting industry too because like you have different levels of hotels. Yeah. If you watch White Lotus, and I know it's a show, it's a fake show, but like some of these hotels that I've been in, I was in a hotel in DC just recently, and it was definitely a different it was a different level of hotel. And it wasn't like it was astronomically priced, but you do get different service. And those people, you're like bending over backwards for these Richie Riches, which that I think is also excruciating.
I just thought of another question. Have you gone into a hotel room to clean it up and literally everything is gone? Pictures on the walls, the towels, the bathrobe, everything. You're like, where's the TV?
Oh, no, those are like actually drilled in the wall or on the stand. So it's about you get those people where they think when they pay for their hotel room, which everything does come with that. You do pay a little extra to have those extra amenities. But when they come in, they take the paper cups, the coffee filters that only work in our specific coffee machine. I'm like, why? You can't even take that. You can't even use it at home. They will drain everything they possibly can out of that room, minus the TV and maybe the pictures on the wall. We have had a couple missing pictures, though. I did wonder where they went. Probably a guest did take them.
I mean, who wants a hotel picture? Like, no offense, but they're super generic. They're
they
not
really
even.
are.
I could probably have my 3-year-old paint that herself.
Oh my gosh. Wow. I did one last thing. I stayed at a hotel in Palm Springs last year, and they had a very specific scent when I walked in. And I contacted them. They said, oh yeah, that is our hotel scent that we have, that they pump through the system.
Well, we found out in the beginning of this, she's worked at some hotels that have the smell of odor de ass.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
So I purchased that scent for my house because I loved it so much.
Really?
Yes.
I wish we did that because it would save me a lot of headaches smelling some stuff.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What an enlightening Not for Air podcast this time. I'm not going to lie. This was really something. You held totally true. When we originally put this together and we said we got to do an episode of Hotel Horror Stories, didn't know what we were going to get because we none of us had met before this except for texting and back and forth. And wow, you delivered. Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
Scott and I even said, we're like, we don't know if she's going to be a great storyteller or not. You're an excellent storyteller.
Oh, God, yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely. This has been such a joy. And
we learned some stuff. We really did.
It's a very misunderstood industry. That's why I said that right up front, because it very much is.
Well, I did think of one other question, and this will be my last question. We had mentioned, obviously, there had been people that had expired in the hotel rooms, mostly, unfortunately, due to whether it was suicide or an overdose or the mixture of both. Is there a cooling off period, not for the body, a cooling off period for the room before you guys go, all right, 14 C on the third floor? Do you guys wait a little bit of time, maybe a week, 2 weeks?
Or is it the next day somebody's in there?
No, only because the police have to do their investigation. Mm-hmm. Now, especially in an overdose, police need cameras. They need to know if anybody else was in that room, if anybody else was involved. Did somebody give them a hot shot? Did somebody give them bad stuff? They need to know all that. So until the police wrap up their investigation with that death, sometimes it's a day, sometimes it's been 2 months I've seen. So it's whenever the police say it's okay to release that room that we can release the room.
That's great information. Now
what's worse?
More.
I don't know what a hot spot is. I mean, how naive am I? Or a hot shot?
Well, and that's how quite a few people have died in Florida. There was incidents where 2 people were in a hotel room, and a person admitted to giving a person a hot shot. He had put too much drugs in a needle and literally physically injected in this person, and it had killed them.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow.
I can't even.
Happens
now,
a lot.
One other question about that. When cops do have to come in, do they do it discreetly? Do you let them in the back? Or how do you do it to keep them from?
It's just not discreet. I mean, people...
They just know.
They just go in. I mean, there's no way to really make anything discreet in a hotel, Yeah. But they got to do their job. I mean, they carry the bodies right out. I mean, they try not to do that when there's a bunch of people around, and they will ask some people to kind of get away from the area before they take the bodies out. But mainly, it's pretty wide in the open.
Oh, I've never been to a hotel when that happens.
Especially when you're down in Florida and all the hallways are outside. People are going to see. It's a very busy state.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's got to be where if I'm walking out, I might say, well, I'm not staying at this hotel ever again.
Right.
I'm not sure if I'll make it out alive.
I was like, is this on a sightseeing tour? Can I go to see this on my next vacation? But, well, listen, it was great to have you in on this. And the information was fascinating. I mean, it was just a peek inside an industry that many of us just go lay around in. We go to a hotel room to sleep or take the kids for the pool when it's a snowy weekend. That's it,
Oh, yeah.
Well, thank you, Kristen. We appreciate you so much.
It was great. Thank you very much. I don't know how we're going to top this one next week.
I know, but make sure you follow us, like, subscribe, share with all your friends. Scott and Allie Show on social, and we will see you next week.